Stoplight Loosejaw. Imagine a predator that can see you, illuminate you, and track you through the deepest part of the ocean, and you can't detect any of it happening. That's what shares the water with every deep-sea creature alive right now. The Stoplight Loosejaw is a fish that hunts with a light no other animal can see. It produces both red and green bioluminescence, two glowing spots beneath its eyes like biological headlights. But here's what makes it terrifying. Red light doesn't penetrate to the deep sea. It vanishes below about 200 meters. So virtually nothing down there ever evolved eyes that can detect it. This fish hunts at 500 meters and deeper, firing an invisible red beam at prey that will never know it's being watched. Darkness took its ability to see normal light and replaced it with something stranger, a private flashlight invisible to every other animal in the ocean. Evolution looked at this fish and said, "You know what you need? Salad-powered night vision." And that's not a joke. It uses a chlorophyll-derived molecule in its retina, borrowed from the copepods it eats, which got it from plants. And despite that nightmare jaw, it mostly eats tiny zooplankton. The invisible flashlight isn't for ambushing big prey, it's for finding small ones. Every copepod in the deep ocean is being hunted by a flashlight they'll never evolve to see. Ozark Cavefish. Your eyes have roughly 600 genes keeping them functional right now. This fish has been losing them, one by one, for longer than the Himalayas have existed. The Ozark Cavefish lives in cave streams across Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, completely eyeless, depigmented to a pinkish white, navigating through sensory bumps on its head and body that detect the tiniest shifts in water pressure. Scientists don't study it to learn about blindness. They study it to figure out how old caves are. It carries 25 pseudogenes and 44 loss-of-function mutations in its vision genes. Vision genes don't disappear overnight. Without selective pressure to maintain them, random mutations pile up. A gene breaks here, a regulatory region degrades there. The rate of decay is so predictable that researchers at Yale started using it as a clock to date when entire cave systems formed. Geologists use carbon dating and stratigraphy. Yale geneticists use a blind fish. 11 million years of accumulated mutations. Humans split from our last common ancestor with chimps roughly 7 million years ago. This fish has been going blind longer than we've been human. 11 million years of mutations, and it still finds food faster in the dark than you can find your phone charger. Anglerfish. You've probably seen the glowing lure. That's the least disturbing thing about this animal. In 2020, a paper in Science revealed that deep-sea anglerfish did something no other vertebrate has ever done, and it wasn't the lure. Only females carry the lure, powered by symbiotic bacteria. Males are often 10 times smaller, and when a male finds a female in the pitch-black deep ocean, he bites her. Enzymes dissolve his mouth into her skin. Their circulatory systems merge. He loses his eyes, his fins, his digestive organs. He becomes a permanent living bump on her body, nothing left but reproductive tissue. He bites her, he dissolves, he becomes a bump. Congratulations, you're married. But the real discovery was this. Anglerfish are the only known vertebrate to functionally delete their adaptive immune system. They lost the genes needed for T-cell and antibody production, the system that protects every other vertebrate from infection, because that same system would reject the fused male as foreign tissue. Your immune system destroys anything that isn't you. The anglerfish erased it. It's like removing your home's locks, alarm, and walls because your roommate couldn't get in. Most deep-sea anglerfish are only a few inches long, by the way. The terrifying monster image is real, but it's the size of a tennis ball. The anglerfish deleted the immune system that protects every vertebrate on Earth, because in the deep ocean, dying of infection is a better bet than dying alone. Losing your eyes is just the entrance fee. What darkness builds in their place is where it gets strained. Texas blind salamander. There's exactly one aquifer in one city in Texas where this animal exists. Nowhere else on the planet. The Texas blind salamander doesn't just lack pigment. Its body is so transparent that scientists can study its internal organs without a scalpel. It's completely eyeless, with vestigial eye spots buried under skin so thin you can watch its heart beating, its digestive system processing food, its organs shimmering beneath paper-thin skin. Bright red external gills feather out from its head, and it hunts by detecting pressure waves in still underground water. Imagine going to the doctor and they just look at you. No X-ray, no MRI, just, yep, I can see your liver from here. In permanent darkness, there's no UV to block and no predators to hide from. Mutations that disabled its pigment pathways simply weren't penalized, and the skin became see-through. Its entire known range fits within the city limits of San Marcos, Texas. One contaminated well, one overpumped aquifer, and this species is gone. Its entire species lives or dies based on whether one Texas city manages its water supply. No pressure. Kauai cave wolf spider. Wolf spiders are named for how they hunt, with massive, forward-facing eyes arranged in 3 rows, 8 of them. The back pair so large they reflect light at night like tiny flashlights. They're one of the best visual predators in the spider world. This one threw all of that away. The Kauai cave wolf spider is the only wolf spider species on Earth with 0 eyes. Not reduced, not vestigial, gone. It lives in lava tube caves in the Koloa Basin on Kauai, Hawaii, stalking prey in total darkness, using fine sensory hairs that pick up vibrations and air currents. 8 eyes, 3 rows, famous for it. Evolution looked at all of them and said, what if we just deleted the lot? Its Hawaiian name, Pe'epe'e Maka'ole, means no-eyed, big-eyed spider. The language had to invent a contradiction to describe it. Darkness took the defining trait of this spider's entire family and erased it completely. Lava tube caves in Hawaii are geologically young, a few thousand to a few million years old. Eye loss happened quickly because maintaining complex eyes costs real energy in a food-scarce cave. Most cave spiders still have reduced but functional eyes. Complete loss in wolf spiders is unique to this single species on one island. A spider named for its giant eyes, living in a cave where eyes are worthless, hunting with the hairs on its legs. Even the Hawaiian language couldn't describe it without contradicting itself. If you're learning things about animals you've never heard before, I cover creatures like this regularly. Subscribing helps me keep making these. Thanks. Naked mole rat. Every mammal on Earth regulates its own body temperature. Every mammal on Earth can get cancer, except this one. When researchers transferred one of the naked mole rat's genes into lab mice, those mice lived longer and got less cancer. This wrinkly, buck-toothed rodent from East Africa is the only mammal that runs its colony like an insect. One breeding queen, a few breeding males, everyone else a non-reproductive worker. Cold-blooded, can't feel pain, doesn't get cancer, immune to low oxygen. At some point, biologists stopped classifying it and started interrogating it. It lacks substance P in its skin, so it can't register acid burns or capsaicin pain. A lab mouse its size lives 3 to 4 years. This animal lives 37 plus. That's like a human living to 900. And they don't live in caves. They dig their own tunnels in East African soil, and they're not fully blind either, just close. It can't regulate its temperature, can't feel pain, can't get cancer, and can survive without oxygen. At this point, it's less of a mammal and more of a terms and conditions violation. Every one of these animals gave something up. Not one of them got a worse deal. Devil worm. Below your feet, right now, there are miles of solid rock. Nothing should be alive down there. Something is. The devil worm was found 3.5 kilometers underground in a South African gold mine, the deepest multicellular animal ever discovered. It's 0.5 millimeter long, surviving crushing pressure, temperatures around 98 degrees Fahrenheit, and near zero oxygen in water-filled rock fractures that haven't seen the surface in 12,000 years. Named after Mephistopheles, the literal devil, because when you find a worm over 2 miles underground drinking 12,000-year-old water, subtlety feels inappropriate. It carries expanded families of heat shock protein genes that prevent its proteins from unfolding in extreme heat. For decades, scientists assumed complex animal life couldn't survive below about 1 mile underground. This nematode forced them to rewrite the limits. And the evidence suggests it didn't get trapped. It colonized downward, on purpose. The deepest subway station on Earth sits about 340 feet underground. Stack 34 of them and you're still above this worm. If we ever find life on another planet, the odds are good it'll look less like a Hollywood alien and more like a 0.5 millimeter worm drinking ancient water in the dark. Cave angelfish. 375 million years ago, fish crawled out of the sea and became every land animal alive today. This fish reinvented how they did it, in a cave, in total darkness, with no eyes. The cave angelfish is just over an inch long, completely blind, completely depigmented, and it walks up waterfalls. It's the only known living fish with a pelvic girdle fused directly to its spine, the exact skeletal structure that enabled the first animals to walk on land during the Devonian period. It uses that fused skeleton to climb vertical rock faces with a salamander-like gait in underground streams in Thailand. It's barely an inch long, completely blind, and it solved one of the biggest questions in evolutionary biology on a waterfall in Thailand. Darkness took its ability to swim efficiently and gave it something better: legs. The fused pelvis allows weight transfer from spine to limbs, the same biomechanical solution that changed life on Earth hundreds of millions of years ago. This cavefish evolved it convergently, likely because walking against current burns less energy than swimming. If a blind cavefish can re-evolve walking independently, how many other solved problems in evolution are still being solved right now in places we haven't looked? Barreleye fish. For decades, scientists pulled this fish out of the deep sea and couldn't figure out how it worked. The answer was literally visible the whole time, if the fish survived collection. It almost never did. The barreleye fish has a completely transparent, fluid-filled dome for a head. You can see its brain. Its actual eyes are two bright green tubes inside that dome, pointing straight up through its own skull, scanning for jellyfish silhouettes above. Its brain is visible, through its head, while it looks up through its own skull at jellyfish it's about to rob. That's what it does. It steals partially digested prey from siphonophore tentacles, and the transparent dome shields its sensitive eyes from stinging cells during the theft. The eyes can even rotate from upward to forward facing inside the dome. Those two dark spots on its face? Not eyes, nostrils. Scientists were misidentifying the front of its face for years. It took a remotely operated vehicle from MBARI in 2008 to finally observe a living specimen and solve it. Scientists studied this fish for decades, stared directly at its face, and misidentified its nose as its eyes. The fish with the transparent head was better at hiding things than they were at finding them. Darkness doesn't subtract, it renovates. Olm. If you visited a cave in Slovenia, there's something in the water that looks like a tiny, pale human finger with legs. It might be older than your grandparents. The olm, sometimes called the human fish for its unsettling flesh-colored skin, is an amphibian that can live over 100 years and go 10 years between meals. Not 10 days, not 10 months, 10 years. It's about the length of a pencil, permanently locked in its larval stage with feathery red external gills, vestigial eyes buried under skin, and senses that detect electrical and magnetic fields in pitch-dark water. Sexual maturity at 16, lifespan of 100, can skip meals for a decade. It's the most efficient roommate in the animal kingdom. A python can fast for 2 years. The olm does 10. Cave ecosystems are catastrophically low on food. The olm evolved an ultra-low metabolic rate that lets it ride out indefinite famine. Slow metabolism means slow aging, slow reproduction, slow everything. It's called human fish, but it's an amphibian. The name comes from how uncomfortably human its pale body looks floating in dark water. Slovenia put it on their money. A coin with a pale, gilled, 100-year-old salamander on it. And somehow it's less weird than the animal. Movile Cave. Every food chain you've ever learned about starts with the sun. This one doesn't. It never did. Near the town of Mangalia in Romania, there's a limestone cave that's been sealed from the surface for roughly 5.5 million years. Only about 100 humans have ever been inside. The atmosphere would kill you. High hydrogen sulfide, high carbon dioxide, roughly a third to half the normal oxygen. But it's not empty. 53 invertebrate species live in there. 37 of them exist nowhere else on Earth. Biologists say all food chains start with the sun. Movile Cave found that adorable. The entire ecosystem runs on chemosynthesis. Bacteria oxidize methane and sulfur seeping from deep geological sources, forming microbial mats that feed everything above them. Water scorpions, spiders, leeches, worms, all eyeless, all depigmented, all sustained by chemistry instead of sunlight. Chemosynthetic ecosystems were first discovered at deep-sea hydrothermal vents in 1977. Movile Cave proved it works underground too. When this cave closed, the Mediterranean Sea had just refilled after evaporating completely. Mammoths didn't exist yet. Humans were 3 million years from evolving. Darkness didn't just change these animals. It built an entire world without the sun, and it's been running for 5.5 million years. 5.5 million years with no sun, no contact, no help. 37 species that have never seen the sky, and they're doing fine. If this video changed how you think about what's living beneath your feet, consider subscribing. I make videos about the strangest things in the animal kingdom every week.